Hello and welcome back to the Film Club, the club where we talk about films that have been recently watching, viewing and enjoying them, and what you've been recently watching and enjoying, and if you've seen what I'm about to talk about, let me know in the comments what you thought about it. I was very excited going into Weapons, just from the hypes, from the early reviews to then just the trailers. This film looked interesting, it just looked like that kind of horror film that we've seen a little bit more of recently from, Jordan Peele and people like that, but you don't get too many of them, so when they do come out, it's exciting. Horror films that blend sort of the elements of horror, but also they know how to build suspense, they know how to... It's not just like cheap jump scares. You know you're going in for something a little bit more than that, something that has context, that has decent storyline, and it's more than just a horror film. And to me, this film absolutely delivered on that. From the characters, the storyline, the way that it's told as well, I thought was brilliant. I've seen that this film is a little bit divisive online. Some people are absolutely loving the film and saying that it's absolutely incredible, and other people just sort of felt a little bit let down, a little bit thrown all over the place. But to me, personally, I just absolutely loved this film. I had such a fun time with it. I'm a huge fan of films like Prisoners. I can't remember who directed that. Is it Denis Villeneuve? I don't know how to say his name, but I absolutely love him as a director, from Dune 2 being one of my top films of all time now. Prisoners is a phenomenal film, so I absolutely loved that, but it sort of feels like it blends the mystery of that film and everything that involves with the missing children and things like that, but I feel like it then takes that film and mashes it together with a concept like Longlegs. And Longlegs was, again, another divisive film. I really enjoyed it, but a lot of people felt like it sort of fell flat in the concepts that it tried to tell, and I feel like this film does a much better job of that, from the sort of possessed people, spirits, horror side of things. This film did a phenomenal job of that side, I've got to say. But yeah, it mashes those two genres really well. I feel like this film doesn't take itself too seriously as well. It's got elements of comedy. There was moments where the whole cinema was actually laughing at stuff, and I was laughing out loud. It is funny, but it also, when it goes tense, it's incredibly tense, and the jump scares do work. I didn't think it was as scary as I thought it was going to be. I feel like I was going into it thinking I was going to come out of it a little bit scarred. And don't get me wrong, there is some imagery and moments that do sort of stay with you as you leave the cinema, but for the most part, I don't think it was as scary as I thought it was. And I feel that's probably where some people are going wrong and not enjoying the film, because they're going into it thinking it's going to be this horrific horror film that's going to absolutely scar them, when in actual fact it's this really interesting mystery concept that blends elements of thrillers, of crime mysteries, of horror, of comedy, and it blends them all together in this really interesting mashup for a film that I don't feel like it didn't, as I know I've literally, this is a little bit contradictory because I've just said it feels like Prisoners blended with Longlegs, but this film really doesn't feel like anything I've seen before in terms of the story and the way it's told as well. If you haven't seen it, the story is told in this really cool concept where it sort of keeps picking up from this start point but going to different characters' perspectives, and with each character you get different context and different sides, and you sort of it slowly unravels, and this was really cool. And a lot of people again have had somewhat of a problem with this because it feels like you're just getting to an interesting moment, or it feels like you're just sort of picking up the pace on the story and then you're thrown back to the beginning and have to kind of start again. But to me, that was sort of the mystery side of it. It was this whole, where are the kids, who's done it, what is happening in this town. That to me was really interesting, and it did a really good job of building all of these characters. I wouldn't even say there's like one main character. I think you sort of end up caring for the whole side cast. You care for the teacher, you care for the dad, you don't necessarily care for them, but even they just act as cool side characters, the policeman or the druggie, like just all these people really sort of blend together to make this really cool story. I really liked this film. Genuinely, like the more I think about it and the more I sit with it, I really did enjoy this. It was fun, it was cool, and to me, it's probably one of the most interesting horror films I've seen in a while, because it's not just horror. It doesn't take itself too strictly in the genre. I've never actually watched the other films from the director. I know that he's sort of famous for, is it Barbarian or something like that? Zach Kreger. So yeah, I've heard very good things about Barbarian. I've not really seen any of his other work, but I definitely want to, because it does seem like he's got that sort of hype around him, like an Ari Aster, where it's this new style and take on horror films that honestly the genre needed. So whether you love it or hate it, you can't deny that it's adding something new and it's interesting. And yeah, this is a very cool film. The gore in it works. Oh my god, the potato peeler scene, that was like a, oh no. But yeah, the gore hits when it wants to hit, and the head smashing scene, that was brutal. That was absolutely brutal. The film does not hold back in the slightest when it comes to those things. The actors as well are all pretty phenomenal. I mean, is it Julia Garner? Julia Garner, her performance, like as sort of I want to call her the lead because she kind of is. Her as the lead is absolutely phenomenal. From this sort of twisted position of being a teacher and everyone blaming you, and the paranoia that comes with that, but also she's not just a like wimpy scared person. Like, she has got this other side to her, and yeah, she absolutely killed it in this film. And to be fair, Josh Brolin did a brilliant job, and he's really cool when it comes to the comedy aspects as well. I think he really hits with it, because I don't know, he just has that sort of feel to him that when he knows how to deliver a comedy line, I feel like, and this film showed it. Those two as the main were really good, but Julia Garner was outstanding, I feel like. Now, don't get me wrong, this film is like by no means perfect. I really enjoyed it and I really loved it, but I do also see the side of people's arguments saying there is a lot of plot holes, because there is a lot of plot holes. There is a lot of moments, like even when I was sat there watching it going, but surely like they would have done this, or surely that would have happened, or yeah, but how does that happen? Like, for a long time I was thinking, and this is a huge spoiler, so if you're gonna watch the film and you haven't seen it, skip over this bit, but you know how the kids were just in the basement of the one kid who didn't get taken, and no one thought to like double check that or put CCTV on it or watch it. Like, I get that it's like a small town, but to me I was just a bit like, really? And then when someone did finally check it, I was like, oh, okay, thank God for that, because I was about to kick off. But even then, I don't know. And as well, it's like the dad, how he's just obviously possessed, and they go to a police station and she's just like, yeah, he's had a stroke, so he can't talk, so I'm here. It's like, surely you'd get like his medical records, or someone would be like, well, I literally saw him dropping his kid off like a week ago at school, so how does that work? I don't know. But that is when you dive too deep into the plot and you take things too seriously, and I think this, as I've said, is a film that doesn't take itself too seriously. Just watch it, enjoy it for what it is, and you'll have a good time with it, because that's exactly what I did. But let me know, what did you think of Weapons if you have seen it, and I will see you next time on The Film Club.